This is Jarrod Horak, and in this video I'm going to recap the Breeders' Cup Friday action at Del Mar on October 31st, and I'm going to start with the track profile. And for the main track, we saw one front-running winner at 1 mile and a 16th on the main track. That was Super Corredora in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Overall, horses that were forwardly placed did best on the main track on Friday. On the turf course, we saw Conducted go wire to wire, taking a good amount of money in the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance Stakes at 1 mile. Queen Maxima rallied from off the pace to win the Senator Ken Matty as the favorite, 5 furlongs on turf. We saw a horse tracking the pace and winning the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint under Jarrod Ortiz Jr., and that was Cy Fair at 5 furlongs. We saw a 20-1 closer, Balantina. That one won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf at 1 mile. And then we saw Gstaad from the outside post, post 14, rally to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf at 1 mile. Winning jockeys and trainers, Hector Barrios rode three winners on Friday, including Super Corredora in that Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and John Sadler saddled 2 stakes winners, Mohaven in a Calbred Stakes race, the Golden State Juvenile Fillies, and then Super Corredora in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Now we're going to recap the Breeders' Cup races for Breeders' Cup Friday. And in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint, now I did have Schwarzenegger, my top choice there. That one was able to make the lead. I thought that maybe he would be fast enough to get out there and just go wire to wire at 5 furlongs, but he couldn't hold on. He weakened in the stretch and he finished 5th. Now Cy Fair, a filly from post 9, tracking the pace under Jarrod Ortiz Jr. Now, Ortiz Jr. has had a lot of success in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint over the years, and he rode this horse perfectly, tracking the pace. She hit the front in the stretch, and she was able to win by 3/4 of a length. So that was a nice effort there. She was exiting a strong victory in a stakes race at Woodbine. And we saw Overseas Invader Brussels finish 2nd, and then Aspect Island, another horse from overseas, ended up finishing 3rd at 28-1 odds. And those 2nd and 3rd place finishers both last raced at Newmarket overseas. And the final time there was 56.02 seconds. The Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, this was a 2-horse race right from the beginning, because we saw the favorite and my top choice, Explorer. She had a sharp start, and it looked like maybe she would go to the front, but Super Corredora, Hector Barrios riding, was intent on the early lead, and Juan Hernandez above Explorer backed off and let that one set the pace. And it really was those two for most of the race. Explorer was tracking inside. She came after Super Corredora in the stretch, and she had every chance to get past that one, but couldn't do it. And Super Corredora was able to win by 3/4 of a length. Now, as I said, Explorer was my top choice. Super Corredora was a horse that I did like. She was right there as one of my contenders, and she paid $19.60 to win that event. And good effort from Explorer there, clearly second best. Percy's Bar was bumped, and that one was able to just edge Meaning for the show spot, and Meaning was the horse that bumped her. Tommy Joe disappointed. She made a wide move, and she flattened out. She looks like a sprinter. And the final time there, 143.71. Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. This one, the morning line favorite was Precise out in post 13, but she ended up scratching out of this event. That threw this race wide open. The pace was honest, and the closers did best there, with Balantina paying $43.20. A nice closing trip from post 10, and that one won by 1 1/4. So that was a good effort there, and she was coming in from Ireland, finishing 5th at the Curragh in her last start. Pacific Mission from overseas rallied from post 12 and ended up finishing 2nd, and that was a decent effort from her as well. Now, Ground Support, a long shot, tracked the pace, had the lead in the stretch, couldn't hold on, and ended up missing the 2nd place spot by a neck. And the final time there, 135.07. The Breeders' Cup Juvenile, we had 2 scratches in this race. Blackout Time for Kenny McPeak and Civil Liberty for Doug O'Neill. So they were both out. That left a 6-horse field. And Brandt, for trainer Bob Baffert, the second choice, was able to get out there and set the pace as expected. Your strong favorite and my top choice in this race was Ted Noffey. That one was able, from the outside post, to just track the pace under John Velasquez. It played out just like it looked on paper. Brandt figured to go to the lead. Ted Noffey figured to track the pace while out in the clear, and that's exactly what happened. And Ted Noffey paid $3.60. That one gradually wore down Brandt, and held off a late bid from a 20-1 long shot, Mr. AP, and Ted Noffey was clearly best by a length there. And for Mr. AP, ran a big race there at 20-1. And then Brandt was hanging in there all the way till mid-stretch. He just ran out of gas at the end. Ended up just finishing third by a neck over his stablemate Litmus Test. Intrepido never got involved. He was disappointing. Comport trailed here. And Todd Pletcher saddled the winner. He's going to be your 2-year-old champion. And he stopped the clock in 1:42.25 seconds. Finally, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. This was the most visually impressive winner on any of the Breeders' Cup for any of the Breeders' Cup races on Friday. And for this one, Gstaad from the outside post. Post 14 horses don't usually win far out there at Del Mar at 1 mile on turf. This one coming in from overseas. Christophe Soumillon rode for trainer Aidan O'Brien and broke slow from post 14, wide trip, still was able to get the job done. So this was a visually impressive victory from Gstaad from post 14 in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, stopping the clock in 1:34.93 seconds. And now we'll look at my full card highlights for Breeders' Cup Friday. I had a solid day for Breeders' Cup Friday with 4 top choice winners: Conducted, Mohaven, Ocean Bear, and then for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, Ted Noffey. And I had multiple doubles. I had a trifecta in race 4 with an exacta as well. I had some pick 3s. I had the early pick 4, and just a solid day overall for my full card analysis. A good start to Breeders' Cup Friday and Saturday. And now hopefully I can even have a bigger day on Breeders' Cup Saturday. And if you're interested in my full card analysis, you'll find my full cards for Breeders' Cup Saturday at the runawayhorse.com on my shop page. So go over to the runawayhorse.com if you want my Breeders' Cup Saturday full card. You can download that card. The PDF file is there, so you can pay for it, download it, you'll get the PDF file. And then tomorrow, after scratches, I'll update the tickets. I did that for Breeders' Cup Friday. I do that for all of my full cards. And that'll do it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and share these videos if you like them. Subscribe to my channel as well. It's free to subscribe. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races. Good luck, Breeders' Cup Saturday.